Hey guys, my name is Matimo, and today I have some more Battlefield 3 gameplay for you guys, and I wanted to talk about a subject that I find to be kind of annoying and frustrating when people bring it up, and that is when Bad Company 2 players insist that their damage model in Bad Company 2 is superior to Battlefield 3's damage model. They're making the claim that because weapons do more damage or less damage in Bad Company 2, that means you have to stay on target for longer, and that means that, it requires more skill to take people out. And I kind of wanted to debunk this claim altogether, because if you look at the damage model between, if you look at the damages between weapons, from the two games, they're actually quite similar, and this claim is kind of silly, to be honest. So I wanted to look at a couple of weapons to show you what I mean, and I'm sure I'll get some haters down in the comment section who love Bad Company 2. I personally love Bad Company 2. I think it's a fantastic game, but this argument annoys me, and I wanted to make a video about it because I just think it's silly. Alright, so the first weapon that we're going to be looking at is the M416, and in Bad Company 2 it did 16.7 damage a shot at close range and 14.3 at long range, and for Battlefield 3 it does 25 damage at close range and 17 damage a shot at long range. And right now, my argument is not looking great. I mean, an 8 damage difference is a significant amount of damage and nothing to laugh about. But there's something that we're missing, because in Bad Company 2, there was a specialization called Magnum Ammo. And Magnum Ammo essentially increased the damage of all weapons, and everyone used it. I mean, if you weren't using it, you were kind of a noob, or you were trying to work up and get to the rank. I can't remember what rank it was, but you were trying to get to the rank so that you could unlock it and then use it for your weapons, because it really was the only way for you to be competitive in Bad Company 2. If you weren't using it, it would get really frustrating because everyone would blow you out of the water. So basically, everyone used Magnum Ammo, and that became the norm. And because it was the norm, that essentially turned the damage tables for Bad Company 2 to shift over to Magnum Ammo damage. And for the Magnum Ammo damage of the M416, it does 20.8 damage at short range combat and 17.8 at long range. And that's not that bad compared to Battlefield 3. And if you look at bullets to kill, in Bad Company 2 with Magnum Ammo, it only takes 5. 5 bullets at close range to take someone out, and 6 at long range. And compared to Battlefield 3, it takes 4 bullets to kill someone at short range, and 6 bullets to take someone at long range. So there's only a 1 bullet difference in short range engagements. That's it, using the M416. And I remember that M416 was a very popular weapon. A lot of people used it because of its damage, and this was something that you would see every day. So yeah, that is not a huge difference at all. So let's shift on over to the Engineer class, and we're going to look at the UMP, because I remember the UMP was an extremely popular weapon in Bad Company 2, and when you used Magnum Ammo on it, it did 25 damage a shot at close range and 15.65 damage a shot at long range. And I wanted to compare that to the G36C, because I found that this weapon is also very popular in Battlefield 3, and since the UMP is a general kit weapon now in Battlefield 3, I didn't want to compare the two because I just didn't think that would work. So for the Engineer class, these are two very popular weapons side by side, and the G36C does 25 damage at close range and 14.3 damage at long range. So at long range, the UMP in Bad Company 2 actually does more damage. But when you look at the bullets to kill, it takes 4 shots for both weapons to take someone out at close range, and 7 damage to take someone out at long range. So overall, these two weapons are very similar. They take the same amount of bullets to take someone out at short range, and same at long range, and really there isn't a lot of difference here. And I know a lot of people are going to say that I'm cherry picking, and I definitely am cherry picking. I'm picking the UMP, I'm picking weapons that do a lot of damage in Bad Company 2, and a lot of people are going to make the argument that there are a lot of other weapons that did a lot less damage, and that's definitely true, but those weapons weren't used as much. I mean, I'm picking the UMP, the AN-94, I didn't actually mention that, the M416, I'm picking these weapons because they were popular, and the reason why they were popular was because they did a lot of damage, and that's why they were used. And so when you get into a gunfight, you're going to fight someone who's using the UMP, you're going to fight someone who's using the AN-94 because they did a lot of damage, and these weapons are extremely similar damage-wise compared to Battlefield 3's weapons, and that's just how it is. That's how much damage they do. So hopefully this all makes sense. And I want to continue with this argument that Battlefield Bad Company 2 weapons take more skill because it takes longer to take people out. And one of the arguments I'm sure a lot of people are going to bring up is rate of fire. And when you're using a weapon in Battlefield 3, such as the AAK or the F2000, which has a very high rate of fire, and it still maintains that high 25 damage shot at close range engagements, yeah, in those situations, in close quarter engagements, if you're using a high rate of fire weapon, you absolutely rip through people in Battlefield 3. And in Bad Company 2, that really wasn't the case, because if you had the UMP, it had a rate of fire of like 600 compared to like 900 or 1,000, I think, for the FAMAS, which is a huge difference. So yes, in close quarter engagements, if you're using one of the high rate of fire weapons, you're going to dominate, and there is a large difference between the two games. But when you move further and further away from a target, your rate of fire diminishes, and that advantage doesn't become as significant. So let's say I'm using the AEK in Battlefield 3, and I'm 60 meters away from my target. I need to burst fire them, and when you burst fire, the rate of fire just doesn't really matter as much, because I'm going to have to line up a shot, and if I go full auto, I'm going to miss, and it's not going to make any difference. So I'm going to have to burst fire, and now it's going to take 6 bullets a shot, burst firing, which resembles what you had to do in Bad Company 2. So when you look at the long range and even medium range engagements between the two games, they look quite similar. So I guess what a lot of people are mad about is that in Battlefield 3, yeah, in close quarter engagements, they end a lot faster. But when you move to longer range engagements, they are quite similar. So hopefully this video has kind of been a little bit eye-opening, and you guys understand a little bit more between the two games. And if you're going to use this argument, understand that it's not as concrete as you might think, because these games are quite similar when you're looking at their damage models. Yes, in close quarter engagements, like I said, they are different, but medium to long range engagements, there's not much of a difference. It gets a little bit more gray. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and also if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel for more videos. But until next time, guys, have a good one and take it easy.